And hello, Muller, and you're on mute. No
Good
worries,
evening,
Muller.
Ashok.
Hello, Muller, and you're a nice bright red. I wonder why. Or is it orange? Anyway.
Because today I've invited Mye Lene Teo,
Okay.
who actually I'm trying to think. I thought she's a friend. Actually, no, she's a client,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought she's a friend. So she's a client, and
Right.
I've been chasing her for the last 2 years, like how people chase storms, because she's a calm storm. So you don't know when she would say yes, and she finally said yes. And so, to make sure that I represent Storm very well, I'm wearing red today, okay?
Right. So she's coming in. Mye Lene Teo is coming in for our show today, which is Leadership in Flow Asia. This is our second show in April, episode 15, I think. So our theme for this month is value-driven relevance. And today we're going to be talking about a culture of well-being. We care while you perform. So for all our guests for our viewers who have logged in, right? This is your Leadership in Flow Asia show where we talk to leaders to understand their growth at a personal level, leadership level, and business growth levels, right? And yes, Muller, tell us a little bit more about Mye Lene.
Now, Mye Lene Teo, so I met her a couple of years ago when I was doing some work for her organization. But what really struck me was this, right? So, usually how when we go into organizations and we do work and we talk about well-being, I've heard leaders talking about well-being, and but they're still sending emails in the evening, and you are getting calls, and they are okay for their employees to work very late. But mine
Mhm.
is like, why do I call her the calm storm, right? So she's one leader who goes and checks on her people at 7 o'clock, because if they don't leave their workspaces by 7, she then threatens her people that their KPI will be affected.
So they have to leave work to show a better KPI. Well, okay.
So when we
Okay.
talk, when you talk about behavior change, right?
Yes, yes.
What gets measured gets done. So Miley does it very calmly. That's what she does.
Right.
And I think one of those things that the reason Miley actually totally agreed to do this show after such a long time is she's been traveling a lot to India.
Mhm.
And she during our pre-show, which you were not in, I saw another side of Mylene, where she's always been super proud, but she beamed with pride, about her team, because they they did the impossible to get into the top universities, and in tapping into top talents in India for software development, which was a new business.
Right.
So Mylene, her background, she comes from a legal background, got into HR, did recruitment, became a HR director, got into IT services Hilti 9 years ago. And 2 years ago, she was headhunted within to, I would say, to take a risk, a major risk, right?
Okay.
To
Okay.
start a team in India, for software development, which the organization is not known for. But a 3 minute, a very quick introduction about what Mylene and her team has done and why she's being with pride. I'm just going to put on a video. Let's watch it before we welcome Mylene officially. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready for Mye Lene. Yes. I think Muller, the sound has gone off.
Yeah.
No
Can you hear me
worries.
now?
Yeah, 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 I can hear you. Let's bring Mye Lene in and complete that video.
Oh, sorry, Mylene.
No problem. Every time I see that video, I just get goosebumps because that was just that whole 2 years worth of work into that one video, and I'm superly proud of it. But Mala, thank you, and Ashok as well. Thank you very much for having me on today. And yeah, Mala, I think you give me more credit than really, honestly. But thank you.
So you saw that calmness coming through, Ashok?
Yeah, 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 I did, I did,
Yeah.
I did.
Let's hope you experience the storm too, which I'm sure you will. But before that, I am so excited by the comment that has come in all the way from London because it
Oh,
gives
wow.
me great joy. Shamini Sudan, our co-host who didn't get to see you, is dialing in from National Gallery, London. And
Wow.
she says, for her, it is motivation, orange. Um, she's excited that we are finally speaking to you, but this is the one that gives me a lot of joy, Ashok. She's very upset,
Oh
you
no, I'm
know.
sorry.
No, don't be, because she shouldn't go on a holiday. That's it. It's not your fault. She shouldn't go
Nice.
on a holiday.
Well,
So I'm
nice
glad.
to meet you, Shamini.
Oh my God, this smiling is too good. So anyway, Sham, thank you for making my day. You made my day because you are very upset that you are not co-hosting. Yes, but I think it's good that you're upset that you're not co-hosting and you've missed my lane. We'll try and make it up depending on the souvenirs you bring back from London. But let's move on, Ashok. So Ashok, you've just met Mylene and you know a little bit about her background. But Mylene, tell us, why are you so excited about HR?
Okay. I think, no, I don't think, I know. It gives me the opportunity to influence the well-being and also the productivity of my team members, as well as the organization. Right, I'm part of creating a positive, very exciting workplace and culture. And I'm able to focus on their development and their well-being, and I can make a change, or at least I can contribute to that change. So for me, I'm very proud when I see someone doing really well, or an initiative that we have that I've basically put out there, and that's successful and people enjoy, and that's why I love what I do.
Hmm. And the kind of shifts you've made in your career, right? I mean, coming from a
Mhm.
legal background, right? Have you ever received a career advice that didn't sit with what I would say your true self?
Most definitely. I think you when you made that introduction of my career and my background. Well, obviously, I have a background in law, and if you stalk me on LinkedIn, you can see my whole career. But at the same time, after finishing my law degree, you know, I was expected basically to take up a job according to what I studied or what I graduated, and that's really a given, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a battle, I guess, with myself for the longest time, but I knew that going fully into the legal profession was not what I wanted. Um, and I had a lot of people giving me career advice, and people persuading me and telling me that I would regret my decision, basically to step out. But upon a lot of reflection, I knew that this was a career path that was not going to sit with my true self, right? um, so yeah, I didn't. I think I kind of defied. I was afraid. Also, I must say I was afraid. But I defied all of that and put everything behind me, and kind of went forward. with this career that I am so proud of now in HR.
So I'm curious, right? Never got to ask you this earlier. Like, if you thought that being a lawyer doesn't sit with your true self, why did you in the first place choose to do law?
Okay, I guess my father doesn't have a Facebook account or a LinkedIn account, so I can say this right now. My father is your stereotypical Chinese businessman who really wanted to give his kids the opportunity that he never had. And my mother as well, right? Actually, saying that, my mother did her degree after she retired. That's when she had that opportunity. So I'm very proud of her, right? So yeah, so coming from that sort of background, my brother is a doctor, so my father wanted one doctor, one lawyer, so I did law. I ticked the box, but I didn't really go into practicing. So yeah, so
Wow,
that's a true story.
nice, nice. We will make sure we block your father's account just in case he gets to watch this interview. But
Thank
I'm
you.
very sure even if he watched it, he is already super proud of you. That I'm
Thank
pretty
you.
sure.
Thank you.
Okay, now so you did law and
Mhm.
you chose to go into HR. So you said you felt that even though you were getting all the right career advice to be successful, you knew in your heart that this is what you wanted to do, right? Can you just help us understand? Because there would be some young people who are listening in who probably have fathers like your father or
Mhm. Yes.
career advisors like your father, right? And
Yeah.
right now they are at a space where they are thinking, do I follow the career advice or do I follow my heart? So when you said you just knew, right? How would
Yeah.
you explain this bit about? I just knew that that I need to be in HR. Like, how did you know that?
I think in hindsight, it's easier for me to say it now. Yeah, it's easier for me to reflect now, and it's easier. But I really thought long and hard, and I really reflected on my personality, first of all, and things that I would be good at, and what I would enjoy,
Mm,
right? Um, Something that would be a win-win for everyone, and I wanted a career, and I was also kind of aiming for a role where I would eventually be leading something that I believed in. I think that's in a nutshell what I think. Well, that's in a nutshell what I think I did, what I felt right. And I also, I didn't want to give up being a professional, but I also thought, I also need to enjoy what I do. I also need to, and I will do well. I know me, right? I will do well in things that I enjoy doing and things I love doing. And if you ask me if I love my job today, absolutely. And that's why I've been doing it for all this while, right? Um, Now, like I said, saying all of this to you now is a lot easier because I've been through it, but at the same time I was also very confused. I mean, to the young people out there, I was also very, very confused and definitely scared of failing, and of the I told you so. Trust me, the battles that I had, getting trying to do what I wanted to do was not easy. So I had to prove myself. So if you really want to do something, if you really believe in yourself, you really want to do something, you go ahead and you do it and make sure that it's fail proof, right? In that way. So I built up this attitude. I think that helped me as well. I built up the attitude of never give up, and I persevered and did my best and learned everything that there was to learn. And you know, I think I also said to myself, I owe it to myself to see all of this through. If I really believed in it, and if it's something that I really wanted to do. I think that's it. It's having the confidence and having the belief, and then telling yourself, listen,
mm.
do it and do it well.
Oh, nice, nice. You've given us a whole load of what you call it. What does it mean to both be in flow states and give out optimal performance, or
Mhm.
finding your ikigai. So, you've actually just said, how important it is for you to listening to yourself and know what you're good at. But you've also reminded us it's not just what you're good at, but if you decide to do something, go and learn everything that you need to learn about the job so that you
Yes.
get very, very good at it. And you can become extremely successful while checking in with yourself to make sure that it aligns with your belief and your values and not compromise on who you are as a person. So I think you've just given us a lot there. Now, having said that, you're right. While you were confused, you kept listening into yourself. But with every big decision, there is a price to pay. So, what is the price you think you've paid for sticking in with what you want to do with your values? She's laughing.
Oh.
Okay.
The price I paid, I mean, the price I paid for a long time was, um, a lot of talk, right? A lot of talk in my ear about how mm, I think they were watching. A lot of people were watching, and it took me a while to get where I I've gotten to today. Um, but the price I had to pay was basically, gosh, I remember working 12 to 14 hours a day in my early HR career. And that time I had just started a role in HR, and I was that role wasn't quite defined, right? So I was doing literally everything in HR. I had to do everything in HR, and I had, you know, and I was so fresh, and hence I think, at that time, many many years ago, if you were fresh in your job, you really get everything put on your table, right? Um, but I learned a lot, and I learned it the hard way. Um, but then I've carried that invaluable learning with me. And for me, I think there's absolutely no substitute for hard work and perseverance. Um, yeah, and um, I stuck to my values. Um, I stuck to my values, and I pushed through. Um, the price that you have to pay for this is basically having no time to do anything else but work.
Nice.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Mye Lene, because you you're so honest, and that's what I love about this, right? No, because you said I was afraid. You knew that you were defying norms, but you were honest enough to say that you were afraid. And thank you for saying that. And I think the advice that you've given for the younger people, I think is very valuable also for anyone looking at a career change. Yes, I think you got to follow your heart, like what you said. Uh, you talk through long and hard, but your defining question was, what will I really enjoy? Because you knew yourself. If you're going to jump into something that you're going to love, enjoy, you're going to excel. Yes, but you need to put in the effort. So I think that's the biggest clue that you told all of us here, right? Follow your heart and do something that you totally enjoy. And speaking about totally enjoy, right? Tell us a little bit about how you landed on this path in HTSI.
Wow. Okay, that's gonna take a while.
We'll try and summarize it.
Okay. Um, well, I'll start with my. I start with how I start with my career at Hilti. So that started in 2014, and I started working for the market organization of Hilti, Malaysia, and I was actually also double hatting for Hilti Asia IT Services. That's the IT arm of Hilti Global. And we were together, I think, both entities at about 100 headcounts, maybe a bit less, which was manageable at the time. That's why I had a dual role. I also had two offices where I had to travel between, like, 5 minutes, but too far to walk, too near to drive a car. So,
Right.
yeah, as normal Malaysians, we always get into our car and drive, right? So we never walk. And it was very challenging because both entities operated very differently. So you've got the IT arm, and you've got the market organization, and also you can imagine the people are also very different in how they behave, and also how they yeah, I guess the mindset is also very different. Then after 2 years of doing this dual role, I moved solely to IT, with a project, but it was a strategic people growth project, and also a development project. Um, and that was in 2016. And since then until, I guess 2021, mid 2022, um, you know, I kind of moved. I kind of was in there, in global IT, taking care of Hilti Asia IT services, and the project for HTSI came in April of 21. I was told that I was asked to do this, because I had grown, Hilti Asia IT services, um, but that was quite scary because, it was 6 months, and I had the project for 6 months. I had to hire my whole team, and I had to get the hiring done also for India. Um, Now, the because of the achievements that I had done for, Hilti Asia IT Services. I mean, we had roughly about 80% growth in headcount, with a very much steady attrition at, less than 10%. And we had also very much international moves between Malaysia, Paris, headquarters in Switzerland, and also the US. I mean, we had that whole nice bucket, right? And this achievement of people growth and development got noticed. And when it got noticed, this is when, as the company was talking about building a software hub, for Hilti in India, they reached out to me, and needless to say, I was super excited, and at the prospect of building, another, being involved in another build up, and also, on the proof of concept to see if what I built in HATES, which is, Hilti Asia IT Services, would work in, HTSI, which is Hilti Technology Solutions India. Um, and I'm very happy to say it did work because to date, we have an overall of 250 headcounts, as you saw in the video. And that's looking at over the past year and a half, 2 years.
It appears to me you love challenges, don't you?
Yeah, I do. That is exactly what drives me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I know if anyone is watching this, my bosses, yeah, give me something else to sink my teeth into. I love it, absolutely love it.
Right, right.
But
And getting into.
this really wouldn't have been possible,
Mhm.
without my team, really.
Sure, sure. And you're getting into I wouldn't say, yeah, I mean, a new territory in a sense, because you're getting into the software hub, right? And I'm sure there were other players out there already,
Mhm.
because you're talking about within Indian space and all that. So, what were some of the lessons that you learned when you got into the
Okay.
new playing field?
I think I will I will start even before I got into that playing field, which was quite a challenge. Um, I hired my entire HR team remotely in 2021 because, when we still had that travel restriction. So I had to use every experience I had, plus a lot of intuition and gut feel, to hire really the right team members, for HTSI. And these individuals, I was not just hiring them, um, for the job, for the open position, but I needed to fill, but also I needed them to have that potential in order for them to have a career at Hilti, not just a job but a career at Hilti, and for them to grow, as much as I know they as much as I love where I work right now. I also want them to have that same experience, right? um, I had to trust myself a lot, and then and have the confidence and conviction that I was choosing the right people for Hilti, and also making sure that those individuals that I was bringing into Hilti also would have a good experience with us, right? Um, I had to, I guess, I had to adjust the culture. Um, I had to adjust the culture, the way of thinking, not to mention the speed at which everything was going, really. Um, and also being the newbie, being the new kid on the block, Hilti software being the new kid on the block, we are recognized for our power tools. In India, people, thanks to Money Heist. If you've never watched that series on Netflix, yeah, thanks to Money Heist, people actually recognize who we are and recognize Hilti. Hilti, I mean, the Hilti tools are used very widely in India, but as a software hub, people didn't really know what to make of us. So that was also, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine, right? Hilti, you define Hilti differently, and then it's like, huh? Software? What are you guys trying to do? Is it
Yes,
right?
exactly, exactly,
It,
exactly.
it, it's not only just shifting mindsets of the public, but even the people who come in, right? That's why you said you had to shift a lot of the culture, adjust to the culture and the speed in how fast you bring this proof of concept to the market itself. So I just want to take two steps back when you said you were hiring a lot of people remotely because this was in the midst of COVID and all the travel
Mhm.
restrictions and all of that, and your experience came through your intuition. Uh, were there any leadership lessons you learned from there itself? What are some of the wins you had, some of the pains that you went through?
Um, Gosh, where do I start? I think, well, the pain. I mean, if you talk about the pain and the learnings from that whole startup experience, it was really a startup experience. And as a leader in that startup experience, you really don't. You really have to put your best foot forward, and you have to be extremely confident, right? And I also learned that. I mean, we always when we first, or rather when I first went into that whole scenario, as a leader, I didn't talk as much. I listened more, and that helped a lot. I mean, I like to talk, but I had to stop myself, really. And as a leader, that was a bit of a change, because all we do is pretty much talk, right? And we do listen sometimes, but I believe that listening a lot of the time in this case helped. It really did help. And just watching, observing, before doing anything, was for me something that was very humbling, because I was an expert in what I was doing. I was building, and I built, and I was there, right? But going to a new entity, your proof of concept may work, but it's a completely different culture, different people, different speed, different challenges. Nobody knows your brand when it comes to software. So you really, I mean, for me as a leader, it was a very humbling experience. And it was also an experience where I, I had to listen more than I spoke. And I had to learn from those who I hired, actually.
Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
mean,
So you saw, did you see bits of the storm coming through, Ashok?
yes, I did. Thank you
Okay,
for reminding me.
right. So you see how calmly she says she loves challenges. I hope my bosses are listening. Okay. Yeah. Smiling in our conversation, what one of those things that really excited me about well-being is, some of the initiatives that seems rather challenging, especially now where businesses are cutting costs, right? So tell us a little bit
Mhm.
about we care while you perform initiative, right?
Okay.
Kind of things
Um,
that you've been doing with this initiative.
okay. Well, I wouldn't call it an initiative as such, but more of our healthy culture.
Okay.
I know I'm selling Hilti a lot, but yeah, that's what it is, right? It's the Hilti culture. I mean, we are a very much performance oriented and caring organization and caring culture, right? The foundation of our success is our caring culture, and together with a very high focus on high performance. Um, we like to enable our and empower our teams, right? Globally, to think and to act with I guess an entrepreneurial spirit. You know, for them to exercise, be able to exercise sound judgment, and of course enjoy what they do. Now, um, our values, right, really contribute to a truly diversified, equitable and inclusive workplace. The new DE&I, and that's what we always, that's what we really bank on. And this guides how we perform and how we work together and how we really respect each other. I mean, key here is respect. And we also and this is an I guess this is an opportunity also for all of us to be able to communicate better, and to practice leadership, right? I mean, you see it's very evident in our work every day. And when we talk about integrity, teamwork, courage, commitment being our core values, these are what we really hold on to, and this is what we really practice. Honestly, if you walk onto the office floor and you pull somebody randomly and you ask them, hey, what are your Hilti core values, right? They will know what they are. We don't beat it into them, but they will know what it is because they live it every day. They see it, they live it every day. um, and most importantly is that we take care of each other.
You're dumbfounded, Ashok. Are you?
No, I like that. I like whatever I'm hearing. We take care of each other. Go on.
Yep.
I know you have a question for her before I start mine.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, so it's how she churns out the core values and the pride that comes with that. So so I like the fact that your whole culture, you say it's not an initiative, it's a culture, it's the way we live, it's the way we breathe,
Mhm.
it's the way we talk and walk, because we've internalized it. Even though you say you didn't beat your people up to it, that they're able to talk about the values because we walk the talk, because we've internalized it.
Yes.
And that we care for each other, which is fantastic, right? But what I also hear is some of this spoiling the market um,
Yeah.
i-
Okay.
initiatives that you all have, which I think, I mean, for me, it was new. So tell us
Mhm.
the thinking behind including parents and in-laws, I believe, in your group insurance
Okay.
first.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
want to migrate to Pune.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Yeah, we did spoil the market a little bit, I must say, but we had to have some kind of differentiation, right? Some kind of differentiation. We had to be different from our competitors. I will not name them, but yeah, we had to have some sort of differentiation. And yes, we have a one of a kind, best in class coverage for our team members and their families in HTSI. The annual medical coverage is, if I say it in INR, it's like 50 lakhs. And for hospitalization, and we have 15 lakhs additional for critical illnesses, and everything is managed on a mobile app, and it's really reimbursements are like 72 hours average payment cycle. So this is like super efficient, and that's super a lot of money for an organization to put out. Um, We include the family and especially the parents or the parents-in-laws, because it's a very important aspect. I mean, I look at my parents and I look at my in-laws, right? I just think um, my I would love for them to be covered. If they are covered, if they are covered, I mean, my family, well, my family, right? If my parents or my parents-in-laws were covered, that would take a lot of burden off me, right? And it's that concept that we applied. um, and while we take care of our team members, we also care for their families, and we take away that burden. Because if everybody is taken care of medically, and that's now the modern worry, right? Especially after COVID, or COVID's still around, right? During the COVID, and really now it's still going on, and God knows what we will have next. At least the worry for the team member is alleviated. um, because we say we care, right? So how can we care for you and not care for your family? I think that was our philosophy.
Nice, nice. And you know what? I don't think I've heard of very many insurers, group insurance covering in-laws, and I think a lot of if there are any insurance representatives or organizations, piping in today, I think that's a leaf you got to take off this page, and that really shows that you care. It really shows, because when you were saying earlier, we really take care of each other. I can see how this comes out as a real demonstration of the leadership example. You know, now I like that culture of we care. So that's very very heart centric. At the same time, you guys are a new business, right? Where the pressure, I assume there are going to be pressures on your revenues. Your top lines.
Yeah.
How do you then balance both? Because it's you caring, but it's also about performance. So what are the things that you all do to balance that, or do you all
um
drop the ball somewhere, or how do you keep maintaining the momentum?
how do we keep that momentum? I think we but I hope I'm answering this correctly, right? We we make our company culture very attractive, right? We make it very attractive, and we show so much appreciation to our people. We offer competitive salaries and benefit packages, opportunities for growth, development with specific career plans. Um, you know, and this is talking about career plans for everybody. So we promote uh, a lot of we promote sort of a lifestyle almost, and a good work-life balance, and we make sure that we do everything we can to ensure that they're engaged, right? Now, I guess engaged and feel cared for. And these are the things that we put out there when we started to engage with the people out there, and engage with the universities and top product organizations, in promoting our software brand, basically. And the cost, we're talking about the cost, right? In order to attract and retain, um, this cost for care, I believe, right, is essential. Definitely. It boosts our productivity, enhances our profits, and it's not the other way around. I think we know that the cost of hiring, for example, right? I think we know the cost of hiring um, is something that we find. I mean, it's super expensive. The time that we put in, versus the cost of care that we balance it out with, um, in order to retain our people, I think outweighs our spending, to be honest.
Wow, because I think again, I've not heard this from many people, but thank you for sharing that, because you say your cost of care, right, has boosted productivity.
Yes.
Wow. Well, and I'm obviously you're saying that because you're measuring that, and you had to have a differentiator because you guys are new to the market, and you mentioned going to the universities and all. So I can imagine that a lot of people would have heard about the other bigger companies, software companies, but not
Mhm.
Hilti, and you had to
Yeah.
provide this value proposition to be coming through, right? But you also then had to demonstrate to them that we are just not talking, we are going to be showing you, we are going to help you be the best versions. We're going to care for you, right? So
Mhm.
how is that? How is your care adding value to your talent attraction, development, and retention then?
For talent attraction, I think we have. I think what we started off with. In order to attract talent, you've got to have the total, the package and that
Yeah.
differentiation that you put through. So talent attraction is very much in India, especially. It's all about career growth and career development and career growth. I mean,
Mm.
talent attraction, one thing, you have to be attractive in your branding, you have to be very active in your branding. I think we went out and engaged more than 1,500 engineers in our first year. We partnered with six premier universities, as you saw in the video.
Mhm.
And within a year, we have seen an increase in participation, I think of at least 25%. And in India, you get slots to go in and present your company.
Okay.
And as of 2 years ago, nobody knew who we were in the software sphere.
Yep.
But now I'm very happy to say within that year and within all that engagement, and thanks to my team of team leaders and also HR, we are now a name on the prospectus, which is like in a year and a half is completely unheard of, right? So
Right.
a lot of work goes into that talent attraction, talent development. We have Hilti People Review. Literally everyone has a career plan, from the juniors right up to the boss's boss. We have a career plan of where we're gonna go, what we're gonna do, at least for the next role, if not two roles after.
Mhm.
And we have it very structured. We do it in a very structured manner. And when it comes to retention, I think I go again back to the caring part of things where, in order for people to stay with you, you have to basically make sure that you not only take care of them, but you take care of what matters to them.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes, mother. You got a question? Yes. Yes. Yes.
No, because as usual, Mye Lene excited me, right? I mean, to first and foremost, to have a career plan for everybody is a
Mm-hmm.
big. I think we know organizations talk about it, but to do it is another thing. It's a huge task, right? And now you're telling me not only you do a career plan for everybody, but you do it for the next role or the two roles after.
Yes.
Now
We
that's
call it
really
Yeah, we call it a two-step career plan, a healthy two-step career plan. And literally everybody, not only talents, but everybody has a two-step career plan.
oh,
Um,
beautiful.
yeah,
And this is truly for me inclusion now, because a lot of
absolutely.
times we know that organizations just pay attention to what they call top talent and not pay attention to the others. But more than that, what I liked is that you said, we pay attention to, we care, and we pay attention to what matters to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the right time for me to also ask you about trailing spouses, right? Because
Okay.
um, now, why? Because I think if you look at where businesses are going, businesses are one, cutting down on expenses, and one is actually the medical cost. So medical coverage is being reduced in that's being typically done. So you're like increasing, and then you include the in-laws also, right? That's something
Yeah.
you're doing. And now I also like to I want audience to hear about how Hilti thinks about spouses and how you show care to spouse to support the employee. So tell us a little bit the thinking behind this, please.
Okay. Um, I believe that when you make a move for your career development, you make a move to a different entity, which more often than not means also a different country. And if you have a family, you know, maybe the husband or the wife has to give up their job, and the children have to change schools, and it's a massive upheaval for the whole family. And for the team member, I mean, I would put more emphasis and more care towards the trailing spouses that come, because the team member who moves has a role. He or she has a job to do, and they are probably occupied, for that 8 hours, and they really have pretty much a very structured day. Um, but if you bring your family with you, the trailing spouse, and also the children, um, that gives also a little bit of worry for our team member who's actually working. What is my spouse doing? What are my kids? Are they okay? What's going on with them? And you know, and we take away that worry. For me, I played a very I emphasize a lot on the trailing spouses, because we need to make sure they are okay. We need to make sure that they're happy. They know where they're going. They know what they're doing. They join clubs. If they want to work, we can help them with that. The kids, we put them into, we make sure that they've got the schools done. In fact, I've got 2 applications going in, actually coming from abroad to India. And first thing is schools. We make sure that they get into the right schools. They make sure they are settled. So we make sure the kids are settled. We make sure the trailing spouse, that it be a husband or a wife, is very much settled. Some of them bring their pets, so the pets are settled. So this gives our team member who is in the office, they can take a breath. They can actually take a breath, and they can concentrate on what they're supposed to do and why they are there in the first place, right? And they can concentrate on their job and what's important for them, and also the organization. So they take care of work, we take care of the family, and we also take care of them and make sure that they have a very nice onboarding, into the new country, the new entity, the new role. So we do that end to end. We take care of them end to end. And Hilti is a family. It's not a it's a company, but really we call it a family, and we call it the Hilti family. So yeah, if you're in our family, we make sure that you're good, that you're well taken care of.
Wow, wow. I love that. And you know what I'm hearing consistently that is coming out from you, Mye Lene, is you provide your family, your healthy
Mhm.
family, with a peace of mind. That's what I'm
Yes,
constantly hearing.
absolutely.
It's a total peace of mind, So at least they don't have to, because you're taking away the worries not only about the in-laws, wow, the spouse, the children, and up to the pets. It's
Yeah.
to that level. I mean, that to me is amazing. Which then brings up a question for me. How do you then deal with the argument that this care culture, which is a cost, we all know that,
Mm-hmm.
right? That it is reducing profits, right? It aims to do the profits as well. Because from the business owner's point of view, right, it is
Mm-hmm.
about the revenue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at my bottom line, my profits,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is a cost. So how do you then deal with the arguments? I'm assuming that you may have had to deal with these arguments where you
Mm-hmm.
had to stand up and pitch and provide your business case, right? How do you deal with that?
Actually, not.
You don't have
Actually
to.
not. Actually
Wow.
not because Actually not, because I think we have a mechanism already put in place. We understand that the most important element of Hilti is our people and their growth, their happiness, and obviously their longevity with the company. And with that comes, you know, immense amount of knowledge, that we build and acquire and keep and train and coach. So, to say it quite bluntly, it's a no-brainer spend to bring some, to care for your people. So if your people are healthy and they're happy, productivity is amazing. And if you care for people moving across, I mean, we love doing cross location moves, because then our people are, their minds and their horizons are widened, and these are the next leaders for us in the
Right.
organization. So really, that cost of moving, or the cost of bits of allowance here and there, and the moving costs and things like that, and we treat it not as a cost but as an investment. I'll
Sure.
put it that way.
Sure.
It's an investment.
Okay. No, I hear that. I hear that, and I have a slightly different point of view, right? Because I think you're in that space where, for you, it's like, hey, this is logical. We understand. Everybody gets it that it's about the
Yeah.
people. But I think that did not come immediately. It must have come over time. It's a culture, right? That
Hmm.
what has been steeped with evidence over the years,
Yes,
and that
for
is
sure.
why, yeah, because it wouldn't be just overnight. It's only because it has been steeped in culture. There's enough evidence, and to you, it's like, hey, sorry, it doesn't make sense. This is it. This is the only way. You know.
Yes.
And I wish. And how do you have any advice for organizations to get there as fast as possible? Because where you have experienced those evidences. But if you have a very quick advice for organizations who could be wanting to care and also look at the revenues, how fast can they get there?
I think you have. I mean, it helped that I had a blueprint. It helped that I had that experience prior to this, right? It also helped that we had that learning from one organization,
Hmm.
that I brought from one to the other. But um, I mean, it depends on how old your company is. I mean, Hilti came into play in 1941. So you can imagine how
Yeah.
old we are, right? As a
Mhm.
company. I think over the years, this is what we developed. And when I said, for Hilti people are our assets, I think that was very much tossed about, tried and tested, and then it came out to be the fact that, yeah, it is what it is, and we invest in our people, and our
Yeah.
people are the ones
Okay. Okay.
that will carry the
Yeah.
organization forward regardless, right? To do it fast,
Mm.
I think we need to take a couple of steps back, like HTSI. I had a little bit of had a little bit of experience going into it and
Mm.
trying to really work with that proof of concept, right?
Mm.
Um, it was more like a startup also for us in that
Yeah.
in that sense. And how did we
Mhm.
do it very quickly? It's by best practices, going out there and looking at best practices for that
Okay.
particular
Okay.
industry, and also for the type of business that you're involved in.
Right. Okay. So what I'm hearing is, if there's any advice, is to lean on your institutional knowledge, leverage on that, stick with what you believe, and model best practices if you want
Absolutely.
to get there. Right.
Absolutely. Yes.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Uh, and what is your long-term vision of care and well-being for your people? What is the
Wow.
next
I've
adventure?
got a very long wish list.
Let's share the top three then, if you are able to.
Okay, I'll just say it, right?
Yeah.
I think my long-term vision for this, for the well-being topic, is that we don't only look at physical well-being, right? We look at mental well-being, social well-being, financial well-being, of course, career and community well-being. I can go on, right? Right now we have things like hybrid work. We have, we're trying to create more nurturing and inspiring environment after COVID. You know, everything has been turned inside out, upside down, and everyone's, we're all trying to collect ourselves. So, making sure that the employee experience becomes a priority. This is what I this is what I wish for. This is something that I want long term. That the employee experience becomes a priority, and that experience has to incorporate all of these things that I've just said.
So the employee experience must be the priority,
Absolutely.
and it's being about the total person.
Yes.
Okay. Muller, you're smiling.
So, did you experience the storm after all, Ashok?
She's back to that, isn't it? I just wish I had more time to ask more questions.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why we're not giving you more time. But I want to disagree with Ashok when he asked you. I think what is different about what Mye Lene is sharing in a very calm way is that there are just loads of research that putting people first puts your business where it needs to be, where it should be, where it will be. There's just a lot of research around why people are our most important assets, right? And I think what Mye Lene has ideally demonstrated is that despite the normal work pressure, business pressures that we get, Hilti has a culture that followed best practices that all of us know, but they didn't give in to the pressure because they stay focused on the people.
Right.
And I think that is something that is resonating with me, that's loud enough. And I'm glad
Mhm.
you're on our show because I think this is what we need to hear more because you are very clear that people are not cost, people are assets. And when we look after assets, the return of investment will show up on its own.
Absolutely.
So thank
Right.
you very much, Mye Lene, for saying yes to the show, for creating a storm that is calm for people who are listening now and after, where I think you have nudged us to think about really do we mean it when we say we care for our people and their well-being, and to have action plans to follow suit, not just talk, but walking the talk so that people get the places that they belong to in the organization. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
Mylene. Yes,
yes,
I'm
Thank
and
you,
really
Malar,
appreciated.
and thank you, Ashok. Thank you very much, and thank you, Sham, in
oh,
London.
so thank you very much. Even though we didn't ask the question, Shamini asked. So I wish you all the best, and I really, really look forward to watching the Hilti culture flourish. And I just hope and I pray that we will hear more of this culture and that you'll inspire it. So thank you, Miley.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Okay,
Right.
Ashok, I know you want to ask more and more
Oh yeah,
questions.
yeah, yeah.
That's
No, no,
all
no. But
the time that we
this
have.
has been fantastic because she really showed the importance of caring for people and giving them that peace of mind. You know,
Exactly.
and that is all about the culture of well-being. We care while you perform today's topic. Thank you very much, Manning Theo.
And it's so so important at this moment in time, like what you said.
Absolutely.
You think about what people need so that they don't
Hmm.
worry. We look after you, and while you work. So
Right.
fantastic. I don't know about you, but I am really inspired. So with that, I'm going to
Thank
say
you.
good night and goodbye. Ashok, thank you for the fantastic questions. And I'm sure when
Yep.
you are in KL, you're definitely going to hope that Mylene is around to have coffee with
Oh
you.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right. Thank
All
you
right.
again, Mother, and thank you all for logging in today. And until next week for another exciting topic, have fun and take care.
Right.